I'd like to introduce Zoe from England, who has multiple sclerosis. Welcome, Zoe.
Hello.
Could you tell me when you first started to notice MS symptoms?
Yes, it was back in 1993. I started getting numbness in my toes, but I wasn't diagnosed until 2001.
Okay, and how old were you then?
I was 51 at that time, and I was a very active person. Certainly when I first started getting symptoms, I used to compete successfully in orienteering and triathlons. My children were still at secondary school, and I was working part-time.
So by the time you were diagnosed, what were your symptoms then?
Well, I had optic neuritis, and for a long time I'd had problems with foot drop, and I was getting problems in my leg. I hadn't connected the two, but of course when I saw a neurologist, he realised, and so I got the diagnosis. But,
and how did it impact on your life being diagnosed with MS?
Well, obviously I had to stop running. My sporting activities had just went downhill. I mean, I couldn't read a map and I couldn't run, so orienteering wasn't possible. And it was just really devastating to be told you have an incurable disease, which is only going to get progressively worse. So you tend to go into deep despair. But I did have a very supportive family, and they just gave me enough space to come to terms with it, which I suppose I did in my own way. I could still run a bit then, but it just became gradually worse over the years. It wasn't. I didn't have any very serious symptoms once the optic neuritis went. It was just gradually getting worse.
And how did you hear about LDN?
Well, I read about it in Youth Pathways, and I also joined the MS Diet group, and some people in that group were taking it. I think that was around about 2004 when I first heard about it.
When did you first start taking LDN?
I didn't start taking it until 2010. I had tried before then. I had no luck getting LDN when I first wanted it, which was 2005. I got a load of information from New Pathways. I sent it to my neurologist and to my GP, and when I discussed it with the neurologist, he just dismissed it. He said, "Oh, that's just a placebo. You might just as well take wallpaper paste," he says. So I said to him, "Well, what do you recommend? What can you do for me?" And he said, "There's nothing I can do for you." He didn't have any alternative. So, well, I've never seen him since. So I asked my GP if she would prescribe it, but she said, "Oh, no, I can't go up against what the neurologist said." So that was it, really. I believe I could have got a prescription from the States or something, but I don't know. I just didn't go down that road. I tried lots of other remedies, and there were diets and various things. I tried antibiotics. They all helped to some extent, and I think that was the placebo effect. But then eventually, my MS nurse said, "Why don't you see this neurologist, another man?" And he said there was no harm in trying LDN, though he didn't encourage it. Now, then by luck, my GP was having a baby, and her replacement said, "Oh, you can try this. What a good idea." So I eventually started it in December last year.
Did you notice any initial side effects?
In side effects, yes, I did. I got a headache. Now, my headache lasted about a week. I felt very dizzy at first. The first day, I felt dizzy. I didn't dare drive the car. And the headache lasted about a week and then went off. after that, sorry, I wrote this down and I can't find out because I know. Yes, that's it. I had the swimming head, and then I got headaches. Now, I don't normally get headaches, but and I also felt very sleepy. When I increased the dose, I did get the unpleasant dreams, which was a sort of usual side effect, I believe.
And how long did it take before you found that LDN was of benefit?
Well, it started being beneficial more or less about the first 3 weeks, I suppose, yeah. Once the headache had gone off, then it started to get beneficial.
So what benefits have you noticed with being on LDN?
Well, my energy increased. I was able to do more. I don't get so tired. And what I really noticed after a couple of months was that my concentration had really improved. I could think about things without getting muddled like I used to. I did a tax calculation, which I'd been putting off for months, and I found I could go out in the evenings and do things because I wasn't so tired. I kept doing things I hadn't done before. I mean, like one day I vacuumed the house, not all at once, I mean, and another day I washed the car, and I kept thinking, I haven't done that for years.
If you were to score your quality of life on a rating of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, before you started LDN, what would it have been?
Oh, I don't know, about 4, I should think.
And what would you rate it at now?
About 8, I should think. Yeah. Yes, because I just feel very different. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What would you say to other people who are contemplating trying LDN but might be a bit wary?
Well, I think they should go for it. Start as soon as you can. I mean, if you can get it, it's worth trying. You may need to persevere to get through this initial discomfort. And I would say the starting dose seems to be quite critical. I got it in a liquid form, and it was easy to adjust. So although I started at 3 milligrams, I reduced it quite soon to 2 milligrams, and I found that I could cope with that better. That's probably why some of those headaches and tiredness went.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's quite an easy thing to do, and you just need to persevere.
Well, thank you very much for sharing your story with us, Zoe.
Well, thank you.